Hello everybody, I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm just chilling in my backyard and getting I was trying to get some sunlight, but it looks like the clouds are blocking it a little bit. Just a little bit of word of advice: if you're not outside a lot, if you're a person of color, I don't know how deep it is, but I believe all people of color, depending on how light you go, we have melanin. And what our skin does is, when it comes into contact with the sun rays, it converts the sun rays into vitamin D. A lot of times in Europe, there was like a lack of sun, and so they were drinking a lot of milk, and that's why a lot of African people of color sometimes have lactose intolerance, because we didn't traditionally live on that type of diet. So in this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about perception of the mind and what I really mean when I say making one's own world, or being set apart from the other teachings and stuff from the world. You know, there has been like a huge revival of like religion. And when I say religion, really like Christianity, because they all do different things, but they're really just branches of the same like idea or teaching or book. I see a man now, I think his name is Yaju Jehuda or something like that, and he's telling people he's the Christ and only Christ can teach the Bible. And you know, perception of mind, I keep trying to tell you guys, a lot of times the story we are taught isn't in reality with nature, and I'll explain what I mean. Moses was a major figure, and the actual name he was bringing was a moon. A moon is a transliteration of a tomb. A moon was the God that sees. There was it was the air itself or something like that, the wind. Well, when different people started coming in, when different people started learning about these things, then what they ended up doing was they started renaming gods and ideas. But the reason I'm bringing up perception of mind is because in a storybook, they have it where Moses is like the brother of a pharaoh. He's running off to hide from pharaohs. He's scared and doing all these things and trying to defeat a pharaoh. But that's actually not true whatsoever, especially if you do history. Moses was a huge pharaoh, and he fought the Hyksos or Hebrews. Now, the reason I'm saying Hebrews is because you would have a situation where any of this is only happening because in the 1900s BC, there was a group of Asiatic shepherd invaders who came in and started attacking Egypt. 400 years later, a man named Ahmose became a pharaoh who was actually of Egyptian blood, and he drove all these people out and saved Egypt. When people say Moses didn't get into the promised land, I'm gonna give you a scenario. Imagine a man who was a huge pharaoh, had all these riches and monuments and all this stuff, and then people 3,000 years later are saying, oh, he didn't get into the promised land. He didn't get into the promised. Do you see like the paradox in that? They're mocking a rich, famous, huge man. But then they're living in poverty talking about the great I am, help me. This what in the other video I said Moses is like a man freeing people, and then you have people behind him like the Pharaoh chasing after him, but they're drowning in the waters. They're drowning in the word because they're not paying attention to reality. And so I'll give you another scenario. They'll say Yehohanan or John the Baptist. Here's two scenarios. They'll say John the Baptist wasn't the Christ, and they'll say Jesus was. But Jesuit, which was French for I am, and Yanez, which was John or Yehohanan, Yanez was the body, the man, Yehohanan, and then his spirit was Jesuit, the I am. What they did was they put a whole bunch of a man's words in red. Then they spread it throughout the world when their understanding of it came to them. You see, putting that one man's writing in red destroyed the body of Christ. And it continues to this day. Because you guys are taking one man's I am, one man's personality, one man's character. You're attaching all these other men's character to it and saying that's his I am too. And then you're trying to live up to like hundreds of biblical men's ideas. You're creating you're creating multiple personality disorders. The word and spirit shouldn't even have names on it. It should be a story. And even if it is a story, it should be a story in which it's known that each of these people were acting individually. The truth is that we're not all connected in some magical sense, one magic conscience, one magic big. That's not how it works. We all exist. We all can say, I am that which is, and we come together and learn. So perception. They'll say Moses didn't get to the promised land and he was filthy rich and had a beautiful life. And his words live till now, the long. Then they'll say John the Baptist, who was murdered and crucified, got into the promised land. So as I was reading that book, as I started reading it again in certain spots. I was rereading a bunch of different books. And as I've told you all before, there's a lot of good righteous advice in the beginning of that I am kickoff after John the Baptist. But as you get further and further and further, and you start to realize every time you guys take, I think this is how it's working, but he's in the garden at the moment, right? He's in peace. And every time people go in that book and use his peaceful words to attack people, they're resurrecting him from the grave and using him to slaughter, if that makes sense. It's supposed to be like a storybook of each man's examples and how the Spirit dealt with each of them once they were baptized by the Ten Commandments, the Word. And a lot of these stories aren't true in the sense of how they happened in that book. See, this is where it's dangerous. The Old Testament is real, but not at all the way they show in this book. Okay, Atum was one of the first gods in Egypt. You can do the research in history. They have the hieroglyphics, the archaeological findings, all that. It was Atum, and it was like small city kingdoms. Then a man named Menes Narmer, Cain the farmer, Cain's rod and Nim's rod and Cain. That's what I meant to say. So then what ends up happening is he spreads all these words, the waters. He flooded the world with this teaching from Egypt. Because there was Atum at first, and then it became Mayat. Mayat is Atum respelled, basically, if you pay attention. Atum, Atam, however you want to. So then, once he spread this eagle and her 42 laws all across the world, then they started fighting and warring. So now you have Babylon, Assyria, and Canaan and all this. Cain built a city to the east. Their son flooded the world. You see what I'm saying? So now you have Mentuhotep II coming out. This is Menes Narmer was around 3000 BC. Atum 4000 BC when stuff is starting to turn into city states because Africa's old. They're lying to you guys. So then Egypt, Mentuhotep II comes. I think of him like Abel. And like Abel or Ham. When he tried to come fix all this stuff, and if you read their different bios and history, because they have all types of information on this, what he ended up doing was he reunified the whole kingdoms, but he was like the fiery falcon. So there's two birds now. There's Mayat and the fiery falcon. So, and this was released after the flood of this Egyptian stuff throughout the world. So then, after all this is happening, at 2000 BC, this fiery falcon, Mentu, Enki, I'm pleased. I'm telling you guys, this is in written history. All this Enki and Enlil, the fiery falcon and all that. So then, sorry, I smoke cigarettes. When Mentuhotep II unified the kingdom again and saved the kingdom, what ended up happening was now, in around 1900 BC, these Asiatic shepherd kings come from Canaan and the Levant and all these areas, the Philistines, the Philistines. They came and they started raiding Egypt. Well, when they took over Egypt, you can look these people up. They were sacrificing animals and doing cannibalism and all type of sacrificing kids and stuff. But then they got learned because first me and Narmer spread it around, but then they were left alone for about 1,000 years. You see what I'm saying? Then when Mentuhotep II tried to come say, no, y'all not doing this. So remember, don't eat of flesh, blood, and all that. It's in the word that they were trying to teach these people. But so then they came back and invaded. It was like, I'll teach you, MF. That's just a little joke. So then 400 years later in 1500 BC, Moses appears. But his name, according to written history, is Mose or Moshe. So when he came and did that, it wasn't an institution where I don't know exactly what happened. So let me just be clear. I don't want to fight with people about stuff. What I'm telling you all is he was huge. He was famous. I mean, his name spread throughout the world. This dude was famous. So then, but the problem was when he died, because what happened was in written history, there were people trying to tear him down. They was like, nope, we miss our old gods. They wanted Mayat and all these other gods. But the thing is, he brought a moon. And if you research, it's just the wind, just like how you guys call the spirit of God today. It was seamless. You had to hear him and get visions and stuff. So then after he was gone and they got mad at him, his wife's name was Nefertiti or something like that, or Nefertiti something. So when he had left, they tried to tear the temples down and bring all the pagan gods back, all these gods. Well, what happened is now a man named Akhenaten comes. This is where I think they get the idea of Joshua. He came at the same time period as Joshua, I think. And he was also professing on the word and spirit. Because instead of a moon, now he brought the Aten. So, if you pay attention, Atum, Aten, that's dangerously close. The only thing that's the difference is the U and the E, the vowels. So they're coming back to the Most High. They try it. But when he had ended up, Akhenaten was a warrior. Now, I don't know exactly what Amos did because they said he was a warrior, but Akhenaten was not playing. The whole world was against dude, and he still built it all and did it. He brought back the Aten. So if you pay attention to the Amun and the Ten Commandments and all that, after they tried to tear it down when Moses came back, it's 7 laws from the laws of Mayat, but really it's like all 10, but it's putting it back into us with a new name, the I am, in this language, English. Because you're saying I am. So then if I am and it's inside, I am of the God. If that makes sense. So we are all connected because the word has gone out and now we have the spirit to be connected, sort of speak. But some people's connections are fucked up. That's not my job. Shit. Life is life. And this is how I'm going to show you how I'm connected to the word. In the beginning, who I am created the heavens and the earth, the heart and the flesh. Take thou no thought of good and evil, but live your life. It's a tree in the garden, which means if I see something bad happening, I assess, calculate, and go and do what I need to do. If I make a mistake with something, and afterwards I feel regret or terrible, now the Lord of hosts inside is the one giving me life and wisdom and helping me understand. The one that is talking about blah, 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 you failed, you blah, 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 blah. Those are your fears. Those are your anxieties. Those are your... Nobody, I don't care how rich they are, the Yehohanan and Moses, both themselves, even if whether you read real history or that book, that's why I say it's real, but you got to decipher because they're turning it into fiction. They're turning it into like and there's nothing, because they're superheroes. Look at Superman and Batman and all that. The problem is they're turning into a fucking impenetrable cage and mind fucking people. So, if you pay attention, you know what I mean? Akhenaten, he did what he had to do, but then his son and someone after him, I think their names was Tutumakin and An-Haramhub. I read in history that they tore down Akhenaten's work, and then what they did was they started building new temples again and all this other stuff. But I have a video called Complete Bible History, and you might see some spiritual stuff and me talking about I am this and that and all this stuff. I'm not, those I ams aren't, when I speak, what happens is, and a lot of people are deaf in terms of knowing what I know or knowing how to deal with the actual spirit. And so when I give certain words, they go inside your head. Bloop. If I say you, the automatic nervous system is going to see you. It's hard to explain. I know a lot of people aren't ready for this type of meat yet, so I'm trying to walk people in slowly. Also, people that are terrified of AI, I'm telling you, we have an automatic nervous system. AI is built upon us. Computers are built upon us. When I say that, a microchip is based on the knowledge they have on the brain, a neural network. You have a chip with a bunch of wires on it, billions of transistors and stuff like that, and they send a signal here and there, ons and offs. So one signal might go this way on the chip, one signal might go this way on the chip, and that's just me expressing to you in slow motion compared to what it can do in real time, should I say, what's happening. That's how the brain works. The brain at certain spots has different memories or ideas or whatever. The brain is like a Google search engine. The brain is like a Yahoo search engine. You type in one thing and it's like a bunch of stuff pops up. That's my job as the user, as who I am, to choose. Just like when Daniel said, I don't want the king's meat, I want the vegetables and the water. Now, when I say that, that's not necessary. That's not talking about physical food. But if you are wanting to eat healthy, because some of the stuff I eat is like, ugh. But at the same time, the king is the king. And so if the king doesn't give a flying fuck about what people are talking about, then what can I do? So let me be clear. Let my ego in certain areas be an example to you of how other things can be really dangerous. And that's what people are doing with teachings and stuff. And so, yeah, I don't have the money to go eat salads every day. And I don't have the money to go get oranges and bananas and fruits and all that. So I'm thankful for cups of noodles and bologna sandwiches and hot dogs and ham sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's pizzas and stuff, you know. But that's the beauty in life, when you can just enjoy what you have, you know. I smoke weed, and weed makes food a lot better. I'm not telling people to go smoke weed, you know what I mean? I got a lot of problems in life. And I'm not saying it comes from weed, but I'm saying weed has helped with a lot of the problems. And so perception of the mind, you know, a lot of people claim to be helped and holy and have all this stuff, but you just never know, you know what I mean? It's best, you can know everything that's on the inside of you. I can know everything that's on the inside of me. But in terms of everything else, it's like, you know, you get what you have and what you need. Because marriage, sometimes having kids isn't for everybody. I'm going to give you an example. For a long time in my life, I was super strong until I kind of like, but then in the midst of that, that's what I was almost unaware until I went, and when I went and kind of fell a little bit, that's when I started to like become super aware, and life just felt different. I didn't want to do certain things that I was doing before. You know, some people will wake up and feel like not wanting to deal with a lot of stuff because that's the awareness. Now you see where, like, I'll give you an example. When people think of the word and spirit, they think like the true word and spirit. They think, oh, a person's going to go do all this stuff, or they're going to be depressed and all. See, they're teaching you from their perspective. But when the actual word and spirit gets inside of your heart in a merciful manner, where you're like, I'm sorry, I know you're merciful, you're not mean, you're not, but I know you don't want me to do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, when you start to build your temple, when I started to build my temple, I was like, whoa, it's nothing like I thought it would be. It's amazing. But a lot of pain came from other people's temples. It's like, whoa. So, yeah, I just, sometimes the mind can be happy and the mind can be sad. The mind can be super smart and the mind can act super dumb. The mind can give you a bunch of positive information, and the mind, and just because certain things exist, could ramble off and say some super weird shit or say some just off the wall shit. You know what I mean? That's called thinking. It's the person's job as the thinker to do what it needs to, like, for me personally, I'm gonna give you guys an example. Now that we have cell phones and music everywhere, there's music. I listen to a lot of music. There's podcasts. Sometimes people do have comforting voices, but it's not just the comforting voice, it's what they say. They're not saying a bunch of mean, detrimental. They're saying calm, peaceful shit. Every once in a while, I'll go back and listen. There's this lady named Anastasia in tech. I like her accent, and she's very calming. There's a bunch of other people I listen to and watch. A bunch of pages that are lifting Africans up right now and our culture and telling the truth about what happened to us and our rapings and molestings of justice and the spirit and being beat and whipped and all that. When I say that, see, like, the problem is, and this is where I think a lot of the problem is coming from, we live in a world where, of course, certain people are going to feel bad hearing that. They're going to be like, well, we didn't do it and we did it and we didn't. But see, when you do that, you're not allowing the victims a chance to express their hearts and finally come out and tell you what's wrong. See, if the victims just go talk in space, then the ones in the family lines who did that thing, they're not getting justice. Like they say in the court of law, and a lot of times when people go to parole or what's it called, parole or something like that, they bring the family in so that the family can express how they were hurt. So if the family of African Americans can't find justice or express how they've been hurt and keep being called terrorists when they create Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, then we're going to continue to be hurt and nothing's going to heal. And it's going to turn into a circus. So, you know, it's like I tell people all the time, but also victims, you know, it gets to a point where it gets to be too much. There's expressing yourself and wanting to tell the truth. And then there's like bashing people on the head. That's what a lot of people are doing. They're bashing people on the head. And they're getting violently mean in terms of like words and sayings and the spirit. And so this is what I'm trying to teach people, that you're going to need, the people who are victims are going to need to complain out and speak on things. But you need to do it from your heart, not, oh, we're the black community and yeah, black power, pride, black, because there's no end to it. Because if there can be white pride and power, then if we go around saying black pride and power, then it's just going to make them mad. Then it's going to make us mad. We all got pride and power. And black African Americans aren't the only victims, man. There's a lot of people out there that are victims. When y'all try to step away from that enslaving, Pope, European, not African book, Yahweh's and mores and all that stuff, from the heart's perspective of what we really went through, LGBTQ have been brutalized. Women have been brutalized. But now, since we can't get the righteous justice, since nobody can communicate, since nobody can talk to each other, what are we doing? Building huge oppressive movements. Look how women, I see a show where women now are just wearing all this fancy makeup, and you all look like cosplay. I like a little makeup and I like somebody looking pretty, but what the fuck are people doing? You're beautiful already. So then, what do people do? A lot. Okay, so it's y'all's body, so do what you're gonna do. I don't care. But I see women, African American women have beautiful long hair. It is so beautiful. But they cut it all the time. And then after they cut it, they go get weave. Okay, it's y'all life. Do what you're gonna do. A lot of people are in situations where sometimes their hair don't grow or they don't have the best quality of length of hair. Not quality, but length. So do what you're going to do in life. But I see a lot of people that are doing self-defeating things that defeat the purpose, because they'll be like, I'm tired of it, I don't want to deal with my hair, I'll cut it. But then it's just like, they'll go wear wigs and stuff then. Which, I mean, the point of me saying that is, think of that spiritually. Okay, people are like building these huge movements, but they're nothing but wigs. None of it's true. It's not from the true hair from the head. Like if I go up and talk to a person, we could get up and talk a black, but really none of them care about that. I promise you they don't. The only reason we care about that is because now we can come together and be friends and talk about something. If I'm finna talk to somebody about how I feel, I don't want, I mean, some people do want to be in a crowd, kind of like an AA thing, but some people would rather just talk to people alone, or, you know, just, I don't even know. Even with having kids, it's not people's job to go populate the earth. People all the time will be like, you need to go get married and we're not having enough kids and blah, blah, blah. Then when people go populate the earth, oh, too much crowd control. We need to come up with all these sneaky, shady, fucked up shits to try to control the population. So I don't get it. I just don't get it. None of it has a true solution because it's all just angry and fighting. We could probably have the best technology if we all came together as a humanity. We could probably have the best living situations, the best friendships, look at all these Star Treks and stuff and Star Wars, all different kinds of humans and aliens together. But then in this construct, it's like, so I'm trying to rearrange the construct. I'm sorry. I am who I am. I am that which is. I am the living one. And all I'm doing is giving words. You know why people are getting mad when people say God and Jesus? It's because I'm telling y'all what those words really mean. God is from Germanic paganism, and Jesus means I am a gracious pig. If you don't believe me, Google what sus is in Latin, and Google where Gudon, Guthis comes from. I know you guys aren't using it to be pagans, so that's why the blasphemies against the Son of Man, I understand that scripture, because who cares their names? But really, when it talks about the spirit, it shows actions, your characteristics, that thing that's in the inside guiding you when you don't know what to do. Sometimes you hear that voice, or you hear that, is it angry, is it mad, any of those things aren't evil, but if you start harming people, that's where the problem comes in. If you're harming yourself, that's obviously a problem. I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about mentally. And so the reason a lot of people are doing drugs and reason a lot of people are acting out and drinking alcohol is because they don't have no real friendships. They don't have no real people to be around. And then in a world where they could be alone, now they got millions of people bashing them on the head, calling them names and treating them bad. We send all our little badass fucking kids to school, and they just run around beating people up and calling them names and picking on them. Then by the time that person grows up, they're fucking angry as shit and just can't find relief anywhere. And then the people that are supposed to be, the loving blah, blah, blahs, religion, they don't accept nobody, and they're creating Sabbaths over and over and over again to where people are stuck like this. But there's one thing they'll still let you do, and that's pay tithes. They'll carry that one on till 500,000 AD. So, perception of mind. Moses wasn't in the promised land. 2 was a rich fucking pharaoh that was freeing people and saving lives. I guess that's what I have in history. And his name has lived on till now, so that's a superhero to me. And Yehohanan, who they tried to actually bury in the grave, is now alive because I'm spreading it like wildfire. Y'all took the man's name and Judased him and sold him all up into Greece and Rome. I'm finna use his name like the firestorm and save the world. So, people will say, so you're idling another man? It's my name. John Juan. Johnny Wani. John the Baptist. Juan Bruce. Yehohanan Ben Hakko. Jesus H. Christ. Juan Duke Bruce. Wani Duke Bruce. Duke, the highest hereditary title power. Bloodborne prince or something like that. Google these words if you want to. I'm telling people, I'm truthful, so I'm going to be honest. I don't know exactly what is going on because that's not how the spirit and the word works. You're reborn to something new. But I'm finding my name all in history. Yahweh, JB. The Y used to be J and the V used to be B. Yehovah, Yehohanan. Jehovah came first and then Yahweh came second. Yehohanan first and then JB. Really strange. But I'm not finna pretend to come down and say I know all this magical, but I do get dreams and visions about stuff. I had a dream of a fireball coming down one time and it had a beautiful face and I thought I was gonna crush my face in, but it had like, I don't want to say my face because it was all fire, but it was like, it reminded me of me and it was swaying back and forth. And then I woke up. I was like in these pretty huge suburbs and stuff. And then another dream where this huge fire came rushing at me and it reminded me of when it said, if people try to remove the witnesses, which I call the word and spirit ultimately, because every man in that book has a word and spirit. So when I tried to remove the word and spirit, this huge fire came. I had a dream this huge fire came at me one time. It was huge, rushing like, and I was like, oh. And all of a sudden this huge stone popped up and it had eyes on it. And the fires rushed around me and I woke up. I was like, what the f? And then I had another dream where, I'm sorry, I gotta go into my data banks, my memory banks. I'm sorry, I don't mean to scare. I need to go remember. I just like to play with words and stuff, man. It's like my own little, it's fun, dude. It's not like, because I also bring the stone. I tell people stay on the 10 commandments and don't disrespect the word and spirit, the temple and the flesh, or the insides and the flesh, however you want to look at it. So when you look at the situation, you know, of respecting the temple and the flesh, but also keeping the Most High. So yeah, I have laws of physics, and I am respective of other people to the best of my ability. But up here, it's like heaven. It's the heart. You guys, I could be watching an anime, and all of a sudden, I'm making an anime in my head, thinking of fight scenes on a boring scene, like. I'm sorry, but that's my imagination. That's the Most High's kingdom, and so that I'm trying to come and help people clean out their kingdoms, because that's what I'm trying to do. When I keep telling y'all I am the God, I am their God and all that, I'm putting the I am right there. I'm not saying Wani Bruce is their God. I'm trying with the word, and that's why I can be confusing sometimes, and I've been trying to tell people this. I'm trying to put the word and spirit back in you guys. All these poems, all these writings, all these. If you guys listen to my poems in my poetry tab, I'm telling you, it's hard to explain, but it's like a whole new world. If it's not for you, or you don't want to listen to it, or you don't believe the things I'm saying in my videos, then that's fine. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to the best of my ability to help. And so, you know, perception of mind, when we clean, because what I'm about to say, I don't want to disrespect anybody, dude. So if you don't agree with this and you want it to be real, okay. Helle, from Norse mythology, from Germanic paganism, from the Dutch and the Frisians and the Anglos and the Saxons and the Jutes. Jutes minus the T is Jews. So when you pay attention to Helle, it's from Germanic paganism, and it came from the Roman missionaries, the Italian missionaries coming up, the Catholics, and when the Italians came up into the higher north and started enslaving the British and the barbarians, Barnabas, they came up with a new word for purgatorium and Hades and all that from the Greeks. And the Greeks got a lot of that stuff from Egypt, the Socrates and Plato. Look, the allegory of the cave. Muhammad was trapped in a cave until he was given the spirit and came out. They keep saying Muhammad was a slow man and he couldn't speak and all that. That's the same as Moses. It's Moses' story rewritten. I promise you it is. I was in the cave and I couldn't speak to them and I didn't know what to do. But then Gabriel showed up and the power of the word, the angel of the Lord came and helped me. And I took over and saved Mecca. It's the same story over and over and over again, dude. I'm not saying it didn't happen. What I'm saying is new people are doing it to save the world at new times. And then so the spirit is trying to breach in a new time period. And so it was written on the seventh day, that which I am will rest, after on the sixth day, who I am will tame mankind. So I can't just say I did it. There was Martin Luther King, William Tyndale, all these different people that came out and spoke, all types of people that was martyred. Because if you pay attention to the fifth seal, after Yehohanan, so watch this, 4000 BC to 3000 BC, day 1. 3000 BC to 2000 BC, day 2. 2000 BC to 1000 BC, day 3. 1000 BC to 0 BC, day 4. So then the 2 days after that, on the third day, which will lead to the seventh day, the day of rest, is when we're supposed to have rest and enjoy this perfection. But I still had to come like the eighth angel from the tabernacle and use my vial of fire to to destroy the darkness. That's why it says the fires that don't consume. Because you guys turn something that's supposed to get inside and heal us into beheadings and raptures and fighting dragons and stuff. Which that's a cool little fan lore story. That's a cool comic. But when you turn that into the eternal word that's supposed to be stuck in people's head and they're trying to survive from hell, an eternal concept that can't be healed when we know how hot fire is and how much it hurts from skin that can never melt, that is some satanic shit. So, you know, I just want to help people to the best of my ability, open their eyes and understand that in the actual third day, almost 3,500 years ago, Amos came in written history and delivered something. It has lived to this day. And people keep saying Moses wanted to get into the promised land. Moses was in there like swimwear and still is to this day. But the reason he's in the wilderness is because all of these teachings and all this buffoonery, so to speak. It's each of us. we're creating a spirit of something and it's living inside of us, and in our confusion, since the Most High is clouded, now we just run to and fro doing the will of a book, if that makes sense. So it's about, people say, I don't know, I don't have a will, it's God's will. And who I am's will. Once the right words are put through the word, then the spirit can get in, and then the mysteries of that which I am can be revealed. When I say that, don't look at necessarily me 100%, but yes, because I am a loving, sweet, kind person, and I'm a good example to live by. I try my hardest. People say the Lord went to go, when the Lord was in hell, he went to go help the sick and the homeless and the elderly, and I did, if that makes sense. But in my physical life, I was a CNA helping people in mental health care and helping the elderly with ADLs and stuff. I literally was living it out. So I got in trouble a lot too, because like I could tell y'all, when people think of good and evil, I'm telling y'all, you guys are stomping people with like religion. And it's about like using what you need to survive. So like the Constitution's cool. Separation from church and state is super fucking cool. But all these other laws and all this other stuff that you guys are doing, especially in the financial institutions, some of these financial laws are just like, you guys are making money the new God. It's the new idol. And I'm telling you what the Most High is going to do to all idols. Because somebody's not going to respect something the way y'all forefathers did, and they're not going to worship the same way y'all did. And so they're going to destroy it if you guys don't leave it open and free. I'm telling you. It's the balance of life. So, you know, perception of mind is clearing out oneself and enjoying life. And enjoying the beautiful nature around oneself, because there's things, and especially I don't go past weed. When I was younger, every once in a while I would pop pills, and I'm just being honest, and I don't recommend people doing that. The thing is, and when I say pop pills, I'm talking about like Vicodin, maybe a Xanax here and there, but the reason I was doing that was to escape. I was trying to escape who I am, because I was afraid that who I am was going to be punished by some magic thing. So when I say that, you know, there's more than just religion in life I was having. But I'm telling you the main stone that caused a lot of this destructive castle to be built, so to speak, and the same destructive castles I see walking around everywhere. But in all, this castle never really was destructive. It was always loving and peaceful, and I was so confused with religion, I just didn't know it. A lot of you are. You guys go around hanging out. Okay, so a couple people go around, they go to somebody's house, we're smoking some weed, we're hanging out, we're chilling, and maybe they even all got jobs and stuff. But we're smoking, playing some video games, playing some Mario Kart, playing some new computer game, whatever. Then people are doing the most peaceful, loving, happy thing ever. They might say some vain things and do some vain things. Okay, we all have our problems, and I don't respect a lot of super egotistical, nasty stuff. But then you take people who are supposed to be holy people running around the streets with microphones and bullhorns hollering in people's ears, calling gays the F word and saying they're going to burn in eternal torments and shit. Which one of you think I'm going to love fucking in my house? Does that make sense? So be cool, man. Express yourselves. Come alive. Live. When I say that, all these people say resurrect and come alive from the heart. Be you. But don't be destructive and harmful. That's the only advice I give. Be loving, be caring. I'm not talking about this. Yes. Somebody may come up to you and do some goofy stuff, and they might get talked to goofy. Somebody might be disrespectful, and they might slightly get disrespected back. But that's not, I'm not talking about beating people over the head and blowing nations up and all that. See, like, okay, even for me, I'm a warrior and I'm fighting. I'm some FBI agent, whatever. And this the enemy. We fighting. Pow, pow. And I pull out my gun now, and he put out his gun, and he missed. Or I get hurt. And boom, he's on the ground. And now take away FBI, because now I have an obligation because I'm law enforcement, I guess. So I'm just a random person or a hero or something fighting evil. And now the evil did all this destruction, and I got my gun to his head. Right then and there, the spirit, with words, hey, whoa. Don't murder this person, because they spirit going to leak off onto you, and there's not going to be true retribution. Take them in, do what you got to do. Or if they didn't do all this stuff, and maybe you're just fighting somebody and they try to tear you off. Okay, you got them down now, go live your life. But
I can only tell you that so often. Because what did Bruce Lee do when he had to? What did Moses do when Pharaoh was trying to kill them people? Or the Hyksos was trying to kill them people? You guys are taking stories like they raided Benjamin, they killed all the Amalekites. Y'all not telling the truth, man, at fucking all. Ain't no way no holy man is killing kids. Especially Abraham and them and all them that y'all claim to give reverence to. These big institutions was built and different men are fighting it throughout history. And their real names are being known. Just like who they call Elijah, LSJ. I think that's Zoroaster. Same time period, same idea, fire temples, fire everywhere. He took Baal and Molech off the map. And you should see some of the teachings of Zoroaster. This is from almost 2,500 years ago. 3,000 years ago, damn near. Man was a genius. So, you know, I'm just telling people perception of mind. You know what I mean? So, when you connect to the source, I am who I am that which is. You're not just, when you say giving reverence to the Most High, that's what you need to understand. The Most High is inside. Whether people want to call it the brain, the spirit, the conscience, whatever. The Most High is inside, and it's working with the individual constantly. How it works with the individual, if it's not harmful, shouldn't affect me. I shouldn't be out here attacking and accusing people. Because the same people calling people devils, if somebody goes and commits something atrocious, then they'll try to say it was the devil. But no, it was the people accusing them of causing them harm. So, you know, life is beautiful. I just want to teach to the best of my ability. They found cached bowls and stuff like that in ancient Egypt. Research these guys, these things. In Israel too. They call them ceremonials or rituals. They go down into this little tomb looking area and get fucking baked. I'm not telling you all that to send the whole world to get high and don't ever smoke with kids. What I'm saying is adult, wait till they grown. You see what I'm saying? I don't want people to be like, well, JB Wani said to smoke weed, so we just went and got, no, hell fucking no. First of all, even in these scrolls, I say honor your mother and father and protect the child. So none of that, no, As an adult, because we all may be on a journey learning, but certain things just don't fuck with. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, and because this stuff has been, okay, so I'll give you an example. They'll go out on the news and stuff and say, they'll say marijuana and all these commercials back in the day. And I'm telling you the honest reason why they didn't want marijuana is because in the military, when people started smoking, when they was testing and stuff, it turned them into poodles. They wasn't murderers the way they was before. It's funny. So then, well, look, if you look at Illinois and a bunch of different states, now it's medical marijuana. This stuff, I don't think you can OD on this. I've been smoking this for a long time, but don't let me send you off. That's my experience. I've been smoking for a long time. It takes away a lot of my problems. It gives me my appetite. If I'm feeling anxiety or anything wrong, or if there's medical conditions, it takes away, oh my goodness. But at the same time, I'm not advocating for everybody to go smoke. I'm just saying, so pharmaceuticals and mental health care. They'll say there's no cure for mental illness. They'll say these medications will need to be taken for life. And then when you do take them and you get off them, there's withdrawals. Sounds like they're dangerous. Sounds like they have addictions. And it sounds like they don't cure anything. So why then is everybody telling people that marijuana's bad? And telling them it's a gateway to crack? Because I have no fucking desire to snort or smoke crack. What you guys do is you rebuke people and hate them, and then when they go find some friends and start smoking weed, a bunch of those people who are already doing shit they shouldn't be, now they're following those people. So, you know, I tell people too, I smoke cigarettes and I wouldn't suggest nobody smoking those. But if you do, I'm not sitting here saying y'all finna go to hell, and I'm not saying all of those stuff, but they come with medical problems sometimes. They're dangerous. But then at the same time, why do they sell them? And alcohol. I'd rather somebody smoke this before becoming alcoholic. But cigarettes and alcohol were legal for a long time. So I don't know, dude. I try to help people to the best of my ability. I seek and find and try to give people treasure, if you can, or if you will. So, one moment actually.
This is who I advocate for. I'm not saying they advocate for me. I'm just saying, help children out, man. Help children and people in need, veterans, people that are hurt, homeless shelters, battered women's shelters, shelters for women to go to if they're being beaten, hurt. Ain't no reason a woman with kids should be trying to find somewhere to go and a man should be out. I've witnessed women call the police. The woman I'm with now called the police one time when her ex tried to put his hands on her, and they showed up the next day at 3 o'clock in the morning. I cannot make this up. And so just look out for children, orphanages, pay them or help them. You know what I'm saying? Hospitals, psych hospitals. I don't understand why if people are going through mental problems or mental health, you guys' idea of helping them is putting them in fucking rooms with nobody around. And see, I'm not talking about the extremes for people that are already out there. You try to go get help places and they'll be like, sign this paper. And they'll put you in a fucking room for a week with other people in a locked whatever. And they will tell you, you'll talk to the doctor once a day. And then when you do talk to him, he'll send his nurse in. And you'll talk to him. And then the dude will diagnose you based on what the nurse told him. Depression. Telling this dude everything that I told him, he said depression. And he didn't even listen to me. So the reason I'm bringing all that up is because I'm telling y'all, help people if you can and help yourselves and create networks and communities. It don't have to be a name. Baptist, Calvinist, gay, left, up, down, purple, green, blue. Man and woman. People, children. So, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that's arguing that Jesus or God wants people to do this, have this on, wear these robes, be a part of this, Judah, the Levites, all this stuff. Save yourself and don't bother with people. But if they do and you like cosplay and all this other stuff, okay. I'm just telling you, any stress you cause yourself is unnecessary because of these people or because of religious people. That's all I'm saying. Live to the best of your abilities, a healthy life, and be happy to the best of your ability. And I just want people to be happy and safe. And make social media pages where you're talking about something specific, maybe. And in that specific topic, you guys can build Patreons and grow. When I say Patreon, I'm not talking. Patreon to me is like a network of people, like Discords and YouTubes and Facebooks. Social networks where you can help each other and not make videos of dumb stuff. Because there are videos out there that can really harm children. And I guess they say they're jokes. But if somebody is unaware of the joke, then your joke turns into fucking danger. And a lot of times children are unaware of a lot of stuff. So, thank you all for listening and enjoy your lives.